before 20. He said he just in there.
Sorry, me. Okay. All right, and let me, just to circle back, Mr. Steele, in regards to your subpoena to Mr. Richardson, it has been brought to my attention that, well, in fact, email is not a sufficient method of service. So you would have to personally serve him either by subpoena or by certified mail, neither of which have been done. So if you're gonna, if you wish to pursue this motion, like you just said, he will have to be served consistent with the proper service methodology for me to, if you want to exercise the power of the attachment power of the court.
Understood.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Okay. All right. All right, sir, what do you want to take up at this point in time?
May I come forward, sir?
You may.
Your Honor, just for your honorable court and everyone's organization, also that the Brady versus Maryland motion filed on January 13, 2023 is the same issue with Mr. Attorney Richardson, the Honorable Attorney Richardson. So just, that's further notice. I took it to Monday, the 18th of September.
Which Brady motion? I'm sorry, I'm following.
It's entitled Brady versus Maryland motion, filed on January 13, 2023.
Okay, let me see if I can find that. I have one that was filed on February the 7th of 2023. Is that the one, or is it one earlier than that?
It's earlier, it's on, if you look at the index, Your Honor, if you're doing that, it's on page 2 of 4, and it is the 7th itemization in that list. It says Brady versus Maryland motion, January 13, 2023. I could show a copy if you need to.
I think I have an earlier iteration of that. Yeah, we don't see it on ours. I think we have we're working off an earlier iteration that has notes on it. So, Mr. Kern, did you see that?
No, Judge, I don't.
And in the Dropbox link, it was refreshed because I've added motions. So the index has been refreshed as well. But it should be in the index that everybody has that was sent by my coworker in date order.
I'm sorry. Mine does too.
Your Honor, may I look at Mr. Weaver's index for a second?
You may, sir.
Can I come forward?
Yes.
I figured out the problem. The Brady versus Maryland motion is filed under the previous indictment.
It's filed under the previous indictment number, Mr. Steele. That's why.
It is, yes, sorry, correct, it was 12th or 13th, sorry. But it's filed under the previous.
Which one?
Okay, I apologize.
Should have.
The January one was?
I probably do.
I can get you real quick.
I think I've got it. I think it's part of it.
Out of the pile of excess.
Ms. Hilton, is it on your index?
All right, Mr. Steele, I have found your variation of Silver Brady versus Maryland motion scavenge, starting with the one that's filed on the 13th of January of this past year. So you can go ahead and begin, sir, if you like.
Okay, but this is, I was just making mention, this is dealing with the Ricky Richardson
That's correct.
attorney, so I was just going to wait till Monday
All right,
with the court's permission.
that's fine, sir.
Your Honor, and I'll do whatever order, but I filed, next I have, and I could go in any order you want, but the next one I have is my motion to sever parties. That was filed on September 1, 2023. And that is now moot based upon the no process yesterday.
All right, do you have an order for us to, for us to consider as well?
As I told the court, I will do the denials, the satisfied orders for the honorable court. And I'll
Okay, that's fine.
have it in by Monday.
Okay. All right,
The next one that I'm looking at, Your Honor, I entitled Brady versus Maryland motion number 5. It was filed on 9/6, September 6, 2023.
how do we do this? How about you handle Brady versus Maryland motion number 2?
Okay?
All right. Number 2, I want to say was filed, let's see.
I have it on February 7, 2023. Are we
That's correct. Okay. All right. Go ahead and let's deal with that one.
Okay, so Your Honor, this comes from my review of the discovery. What the court will learn is that law enforcement believes that Mr. Williams rented a car that was supposedly used in a shooting, a drive-by shooting of Mr. Thomas on January 10, 2015. The law enforcement officer, specifically Detective Thorpe, wrote in a report that he went down and spoke with Hertz employees who stated that in 2015, Mr. Williams often rented vehicles from Hertz. And these employees said that Mr. Williams had others retrieve the vehicles. I'd like to interview those people and know who they are. That would be important to the case. to see who is picking up the car, and I don't have the identity of those Hertz employees. And I'd like to have it, all it says is in the report, it says that employees who were spoken with who stated that Mr. Williams has others retrieve the rented vehicles. But I'd like to have the names of those persons so I can bring them to court.
All right, Ms. Lowe?
Your Honor, we have given over to each of the defendants' counsels the report that Detective Thorpe provided to us as it relates to who he spoke with at Hertz. I've spoken with Detective Thorpe regarding who he spoke with or what he did there, and he has provided neither member of the state's team any additional information than what he has in his report. I can provide to Mr. Steele, Detective Thorpe's contact information so that he can inquire as well. But we have no names of the people with whom Detective Thorpe spoke. I think most importantly, because after we received the file from Detective Thorpe, our office went and inquired of Hertz the same information, but we were able to obtain the information showing the defendant Williams's rental of a particular vehicle on that day, along with the signed receipt for the rental. So we don't have the names of people that gave Detective Thorpe erroneous information or inaccurate information or incomplete information, but we have, and we will provide to Mr. Steele, Detective Thorpe's information so that if Mr. Steele feels like there is more that he can obtain from Detective Thorpe, he can get that from him.
And when will you provide Detective Thorpe's?
I can give it to him as we speak, standing here right now.
All right. All right, Mr. Steele, I think she's going to provide you his particular contact information, and you can follow up on that. And if anything else comes out of it you need my assistance with, you let me know.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, you want to go by the next one you call?
Yeah, I believe, let's see. Number 3, Brady versus Maryland, motion number 3, that was filed on April the 18th of this year.
Your Honor, this is a meeting with Investigator Viverito. She met with KC. This is in year 2018. She meets with him for hours. And during this time, it is discussed that KC has opened up to Investigator Viverito that he has emotional problems and that the two of them discussed it. This is on a recording. And it is my contention and belief that the fact that KC has emotional problems that were discussed, therefore he waived any privilege that he may have in it, and that would be important. KC is going to be potentially a critical witness, and that would be impeachment evidence or exculpatory evidence, maybe, and it would go to his motive and bias and interest and knowledge. Also, for prior inconsistent statements, it may understand his memory, and I'd like to understand so that Mr. Williams can properly present a defense and cross-examine critical witness. I'd like to understand what was discussed. Investigator Viverito never gives any notes or recording of when she spoke with KC about what he did with this, what type of emotional problems he had. And it was suggested to him to seek a counsel.
Have you interviewed Investigator Viverito, Mr. Steele?
I wrote her a letter, like you told me. The prosecutor gave me the email address. I have not heard back from her.
Right.
I do not have a number.
Your Honor, if I may respond just briefly to part of what is requested. Mr. Steele is not entitled to any medical records of that nature of witnesses. I can give to the court the case law that states that is, number one, protected, number two, not something that's in the state's possession, and number three, not something that the state would be able to procure as or more easily than Mr. Steele would. But the primary concern that I have is that that is information that he is absolutely not entitled to have. He can speak with the witness, he can, interview people, but he certainly in no way is entitled to anyone's medical records in that respect, so that he can attempt to impeach. I suppose that's the purpose of it all, to impeach the witness with protected medical record information. No one waived anything by mentioning any of their health history to any investigator in this case. But I can cite for the court with just a moment's indulgence. I can get precise case law on that matter.
All right. While Prosecutor Love's looking for that, may I speak?
Yes, sir.
I'm not asking for any medical records. I'm not asking for any privileged information. This is a conversation between Investigator Viverito and KC. And I know the court hasn't looked at the discovery, or I believe the court may not have. What happens is there's a recording, and it's KC Investigator Viverito, and they're talking about all of their communications in the past. I don't have anything, any notes, memoranda. I have no video or audio on these prior meetings. It comes out saying, I know you told me about your emotional problems. We've discussed them at length. I understand what you have. All I want is what was discussed. That would never be privileged, because if it were to be privileged, KC opened up the privilege by discussing it with a non-medical provider.
But
Not his lawyer, not his priest.
I don't see how you still get it though, Mr. Steele, but there's another thing you could probably do. Why don't you talk to Investigator Viverito, and maybe you get the context in whatever she's talking about in terms of those prior instances. And if you need to follow up on that, then I can kind of take a look at it.
I'll do it. And the reason I raise it to the court, and I will absolutely, under Brady, try my due diligence, but you can't just get information from a known witness and then not write it down if it's exculpatory or impeaching. And if I was a law enforcement officer, which I've never been, and I'm speaking with a key witness, and they tell me, hey, these are my issues. And if those issues, it's not for me to say, those issues would go to something like memory, violence, hatred, a bias. I have a duty to write that down under Brady. It's part of the prosecution team, Investigator Viverito, to me, and I could, if I need to make a proffer, I will, is part of the prosecution team. She's integral on this team. That's what I'm asking
Those are
for.
different than medical.
I didn't ask for medical.
Okay, all right. So, but without kind of, I think you probably having a sit down with Investigator Viverito and her either telling you, no, I'm not going to give you this, or you getting the context of this and being satisfied that the Brady material has been satisfied. I think that would probably be the first step.
Okay, I have her email, if I could get, if it's allowed, her cell number. You'd have to ask her, but if I could get that, that would be helpful. But she did not respond to my email previously.
And she, Your Honor, we can certainly provide phone numbers for law enforcement officers, and she is one, and she is employed with the Atlanta Police Department down the road. We will give that all.
Okay, if you could provide that to Mr. Steele at the conclusion of this conversation in regards to, so, and also that, you know.
We've provided Detective Thorpe's information, and I will provide to him additional contact information for Investigator Burrito.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I have Brady versus Maryland, number 4, filed on 4/18 of this year.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, this is October 27th of 2021. Investigator Viverito was then employed by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, and she's with KC. It's on a recording that was served in discovery, and it's discussed that KC was threatening people on social media. I don't have those threats. It was said that Investigator Viverito viewed these threats on social media, and I would like to have these threats so I could use to cross-examine, if appropriate, Mr. KC, and I have no way of getting these threats. I've looked on social media, they are not there.
Okay.
And that to me is Brady.
Ms. Love?
Your Honor, I will inquire as to alleged threats and whether or not Investigator Viverito captured those, held those, kept those, and to the extent that any alleged threats were captured and preserved, we will turn them over. I will reach out to Investigator Viverito as I'm standing right here right now and ask her the same.
Okay, all right. All right. Mr. Steele, I also have motion for Brady impeachment evidence that was filed on March the 22nd of this year. And apparently it has something to do with Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, so this is on recording. This is June 2015. Detective Gaither, which is Gaither, and Detective Dennis, Dennis. Other law enforcement officers are present again with KC, and they inform KC that they have threats that KC made to people at the Dunbar Recreational Center, DUNBAR Recreational Center. KC denied making these threats. These threats were reported to law enforcement by the City of Atlanta Mayor's Office, and I'd like those threats to impeach KC. I don't have those threats, it's just discussed.
I will say state, no.
Your Honor, we don't have any such threats. And there's literally no record that we have of any threats. What we are doing right now is we are going through all of the discovery that has been provided to the defendants and all of the files that we have that are in any way even tangentially related to acts alleged in this indictment. And our intent is to compile all of that, organize all of that in a manner consistent with what has been requested by the defendants and what the court has in some way indicated it would like to see. To date, I have seen nothing of the sort. I do not believe it even exists. I understand Mr. Steele's responsibility and obligation to his client is to ask for anything that might possibly be out there in the world. However, this is something we do not have. And if it exists with the mayor's office, then I would ask that the court require Mr. Steele to inquire of the mayor's office because we don't have it.
Mr. Steele, I might to the state's point, have you talked with Detective Gaither or Detective Dennis?
They're retired. I've never been given good numbers.
All right, let's see if we can get some good information from them and see if
Yes,
you
Your
can talk to them. Ms. Love, can you provide that today, like now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. All right, what are the, those are all the Brady ones I have at this point in time. Mr.
One
Steve,
more,
do you have
if you don't-
other ones?
Yeah, can you look and see on your list? I filed it September, it might be on the new list, September 6th of this year.
September 1.
It's called Brady versus Maryland, number 5, motion number 5. And you were sent it by Dropbox with a refreshed index as well. 6. (2023).
Okay, Mr. Steele, I'm in possession of Brady versus Maryland, motion number 5, apparently filed on 9/6 of 2023, involving a video from McDonald's on Cleveland Avenue from January the 10th of 2015.
That's right. And Your Honor, just for you to know, this also coincides a great deal with motion for discovery number 24, which was filed on September 11th, 2023 by me. So just let you know that this satisfies both motions. So, Your Honor, there are interviews, and the allegation is that people allegedly involved and people allegedly not involved with the shooting of Mr. Donovan Thomas on January 10, 2015, a short time later and a short time before the shooting. The 911 calls at 7:22 that night, Your Honor. They are meeting on Cleveland Avenue at a McDonald's restaurant. And in the recordings, law enforcement officers, specifically Detective Gaither, is stating that we have you, whomever they're talking with, at the McDonald's on the video. I was not given the video of the McDonald's, and I need that video. It'll be exculpatory to Mr. Williams.
Ms. Love or Ms. Hilton, do you all have that video to begin with?
There is no video from the McDonald's on Cleveland from January 10th of 2015.
Is it possible that it exists on another date?
There is no video from the McDonald's on Cleveland Avenue from any date in any of our
Okay,
information.
all right. And I take it that Mr. Steele, you've not been able to query Detective Gaither as to,
Or perhaps the McDonald's, because we don't have that.
or, yeah, that was my next inquiry. Have you served a subpoena to the McDonald's?
McDonald's does not have it anymore because of the length of time in 2022 on May 9th when the indictment was returned. And I did not ever have a contact information for Detective Gaither.
And Your Honor, Mr. Steele's representation implicitly states that he has spoken with the McDonald's and that they at one point had it, in that he has said McDonald's does not have it anymore. My inquiry to the court is to determine whether or not Mr. Steele is indicating that McDonald's indicated they ever had anything from January 10th of 2015, because again, we don't.
Do we know whether or not McDonald's ever
I
had it?
I will tell this on the court if you're interested. Ex parte, I'm not telling the state of Georgia what I've done and what I have. This information comes from a recording. Detective Gaither telling witnesses, potential witnesses, that they have this recording. I want the recording. I heard what DA Love said. If they don't produce it, that's how we're going to go into trial.
Okay, do we know that it actually, do we know that it exists? Because, the police are, depending upon the circumstances, are authorized to tell people falsehoods. So do we know one exists?
I will tell you absolutely if you wish to on a sealed record, ex
Okay.
parte.
All right, I'll let you talk with Detective Gaither and you can follow up with me on this issue, okay?
And then yes, sir. And then the motion for discovery number 24 filed on 9/11/23. It's the same request for the video. And I heard Ms. Love saying that there will not be a video. And we're talking about the same McDonald's on Cleveland Avenue. I also asked for the surrounding area. So if there's any videos, I have nothing. Also videos around Mr. Williams' apartment. It's on 12th Street. I have none of those videos either. Those videos do not exist today. And then any police, traffic, because in those days, it's still here. There's cameras all over Atlanta. So if law enforcement tracked any type of license plate, I don't have any of that, and I want that.
Ms. Love, do any of those exist, madam?
Your Honor, whether or not any LPRs or vid camera videos of certain surrounding areas exist at this point is something that I cannot tell the court one way or the other. I can tell the court that I will make the same inquiry apparently that Mr. Steele is making or has made. And whatever he wishes to relay to the court under seal in private, he can, regarding what his efforts have been and what he has. And if the court directs me to make any particular inquiry, I will make them.
All right.
I'd like on the record, if it's okay with the sound report, that there are no videos to the state's knowledge, because I don't want to get into trial and then be told, oh, we forgot to give you this, or, oh, this is buried in the discovery. I'm telling the court, I have nothing. And these videos should exist, but I've been given nothing. And if DA Love says there's nothing to give, I accept it.
I have said what is accurate to date.
All
Again,
right, well, let me just kind of be very, very plain. Do any other videos exist of this particular date that Mr. Williams is captured on that you intend to introduce into evidence?
do any other videos of Jeffrey Williams
Yes.
exist at this time?
As relates, or maybe that may be responsive to Mr. Steele's discovery request in number 24.
To make certain that I am answering as completely and as truthfully as possible, Your Honor, I would ask the court to allow us to ensure that I am stating with accuracy one way or the other.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Well, we can, I'll just take it up again on Monday, okay? And you can check.
Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Steele, if you'll just make a note, circle back on Monday, we'll we'll check on that issue, okay?
Okay. We have a couple more, Judge, if you are able to take some up.
All right, sir, what else?
Your Honor, Mr. Williams filed a motion for discovery number 23. It was filed on September 6, 2023.
Motion for discovery number, you said number 23?
Yes, sir.
West, you see that? Okay. All right, Mr. Steele, I'm in receipt of the discovery, motion for discovery number 23 filed on 9/6 of 2023 involving some videotape lineup of in April of 2017.
That's correct. So, Your Honor, what happens is the prosecution serves in discovery. It's in a police car, and it's being filmed from the rear driver's seat towards the front passenger seat. And there's a woman, later another video of a man, and they're being interviewed about some sort of issue with a gun, maybe a theft of a gun, it sounds like, and then shown individual pictures or a photographic lineup. You can't see it very well. One person's identified by the young lady. The man says he cannot identify anybody. I've asked the Honorable District Attorney Smith, what is this relating to? I have no idea. It seems like it's College Park Police is my memory. And District Attorney Smith, who is in your courtroom and he'll correct me, told me that he is stumped. And this is just in the discovery, and that's why I asked for an index. Also, Your Honor, and it's not in this motion, but I've asked District Attorney Smith earlier today. I've mentioned it before, but I sent it to him today. In the discovery, there is a search warrant from year 2000. Mr. Williams is 9 years old in 2000.
Yeah, he told me about those two.
Okay, and I know I mentioned it. And I have no idea why that search warrant is in our case. I'd like to know that as well. And that's why it comes back to what I know you're taking up on Monday, but the discovery index, these are not fair representation of how to go through a case.
Well, Ms. Love or Ms. Hilton, can you tell us or bring any granularity to this incident in April of 2017 or whether or not it's even going to be used?
Your Honor, we'd ask the court's permission to address this with Mr. Steele on Friday and with the court further, if need be, on Monday.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Steele, so you can follow up on that as well, okay?
I hope so. Yes, sir. I'll do what the court says. And then, Your Honor, the only other, may I speak, sir?
Yes, you can. Yes, sir.
The only other two motions that Mr. Williams has right now to suppress is motion to suppress number 7. It was refiled under the correct indictment number on February 6th, 2023. It was previously filed under the former indictment number. I just refiled under the correct one. And then motion to suppress number 9. And that also needs an evidentiary hearing. That was filed on June 23rd, 2023. And the state, I think, said that they need witnesses and we're going to, the court's going to figure out dates. And then we have the, everything else pending.
So you said motion to suppress number 9. That involves a purported warrant, cell phone records,
Yeah.
May 16th, 2016?
Yeah, I don't believe there's any need for anything but argument, but I believe the state wanted to argue with a witness, but if I'm wrong, then we could just argue that. And then motion to
Madam,
suppress number
well,
7.
let me take up number 9 first, since it's in front of me. Madam, or ladies or sir, do you need a witness for motion to suppress number 9? Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, we would. This is,
That's Detective David White.
yes.
Okay, so I had to stop it real quick. I just looked at the title. So it's a motion hearing. So basically what they doing is they trying to get all their evidence, present the evidence that they have before trial. So this is not actually the trial, this is the motion hearing. So they basically going over all the evidence. So both parties, whatever evidence they have, both parties got to have the evidence. So on the state behalf, all the evidence that they claim they had, for whatever reason, today they don't have it. So they have to find that evidence before trial start to give Thug them team time to go over the evidence and debunk it. So all this stuff that they naming right now is evidence that they supposed to have during trial. But this might go in Thug favor if they don't find this evidence, these videos they claim they got by time trial start. So this is what this motion hearing is. All the evidence and whatever problems they have before the trial, they situated right now. So like I said earlier in the chat, the shit might be looking good for Thug, but you already know how they play. They can't find the videos today, but I guarantee you, goddamn, by time trial start, a couple weeks before, they gonna find them motherfuckers. They ain't finna just let it go like that. If they gotta make them motherfuckers, they gonna find the video.
Do we know his availability, madam?
Your Honor, if the court gives me dates, I will inquire of Detective White. He is out of town, but not more than 3 hours away in the southern part of the state. Actually, 5 hours. It's yeah, Savannah. So if the court just tells me when we would need to have him here, we will make that happen.
Okay, and what was, I'll determine that in just a second. Mr. Steele, you said motion to suppress number 7?
Yes, and it says next to it, refiled on February 6, 2023.
What date is that allegedly involved, sir?
May 18, 2018. It's a traffic stop of Mr. Williams by Brookhaven Police Officer Gant, which is G-A-N-T.
All right.
Detective White, he is out of town, but not more than 3 hours away in the southern part of the state. Actually, 5 hours. It's yeah, Savannah. So if the court just tells me when we would need to have him here, we will make that happen.
Okay, and what was, I'll determine that in just a second. Mr. Steele, you said motion to suppress number 7?
Yes, and it says next to it, refiled on February 6, 2023.
What date is that allegedly involved, sir?
May 18, 2018. It's a traffic stop of Mr. Williams by Brookhaven Police Officer Gant, which is G-A-N-T.
All right. Ms. Love, do you think we could have the Detective White and Officer Gant here for the afternoon of the 20th of September?
I will inquire right now, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to recess. I'll give you all about 5 minutes. Let's come back at 3:30, and then you can let me know those dates, and I can give you some other dates. Is that it, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Steele?
Yeah, and then we have the other items to clean up, but you said we're tabling most of those till Monday, so I thought.
Which ones? I'm sorry.
The emergency motion for a witness list.
Yeah, I'm gonna, consistent with my other directives to you all, in relationship to that, that will apply to everyone, starting at 9 o'clock on Friday, the 15th of September, exhausting until you all are finished. I'd like you all to go through that discovery and witness list, and then I will take up whatever is left of the conversation on the 18th of September, when we meet. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we're gonna be recessed about 10 minutes. All right. All right, councils, while we're waiting on Officer Gant to get to his schedule, let me go ahead and tell you tomorrow what the lineup is for tomorrow. As you all are aware, tomorrow we will commence 1100 hours to deal with the motion to suppress ID from Mr. Stillwell. And we will take up jury selection as well. The jurors that will be called in for examination tomorrow, subject to, of course, their availability, are as follows: 277, 279, 307, 310, 311, 312, and 316. Again, 277, 279, 307, 310, 311, 312, 316. Of course, I'll update you tomorrow morning as to who has actually appears for our examination tomorrow, and we'll take those up after we finish our motion to suppress. All right. While we are waiting, do I have any inquiry of me at this point in time, ministerial in nature?
On behalf of Mr. Wood.
Okay, remember, everyone, and I mean everyone, Friday, 9 o'clock, this courtroom, it will be yours. And my expectation is that you will go through all of your discovery and your witness list so that we will not need to have a conversation on the 18th. So your clients, it'll be attorneys only, just to cover the discovery in that particular issue. Anything that you all wish to put on the record, we'll put on the record on the 18th when I come in.
Your Honor, there was an inquiry that I wanted to make of the court. I had considered procuring a large storage device in order to consolidate all of the previously filed discovery and index it. I am wondering whether the court is willing to inquire if the defendants are willing to essentially swap me a empty device for the one that I give to them if I'm able to get one and put all of that on there.
How big of a device are we talking about that you'll need?
I was going to simply get the largest one that I could find, which might be a 14 terabyte one. I don't anticipate needing anything that large, but I wanted to make certain that I'm not having to stop any kind of downloads midway through. Otherwise, we'll just make it available if I can't just get an even swap.
Have you attempted to put all of your discovery on this particular terabyte device?
No, I haven't even procured it. I'm going to buy it.
Okay. Well, it's hard for me to kind of propound a question and never ask them that if you don't know whether or not you'll be able to do it, or it may require, for example, you're going to need to come prepared with 5 terabyte devices. I mean, so
Okay.
Is that something you all can work on and let me know tomorrow potentially, so that I can kind of discuss with your colleagues if
Sure.
what option may work?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. So we can take that up tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. That is the only business for Friday. And then on Monday, the 18th of September, we have various things that we will take up to include, but not limited to, the status of Mr. Williams. We won't have Mr. Dorsey anymore since he's no longer with us. But Mr. Williams' emergency motion, the balance of that, should I be required to do so. And I do believe I have Mr. Stillwell's motion to suppress phone records for that particular day as well. Is that correct, Mr. Sharp? Monday.
Well, it's not phone records, it's phone dump.
Phone dump, but it involves, yeah, Detective Viverito. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. All right, okay. And then Mr. Steele, we're gonna take up, your issue involving Mr. Richardson at that point in time. You'll let me know what your final decision is on that?
Of course.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
all right. That should conclude the 18th, and then the 19th, I have, starting at 3 o'clock, motion to suppress Mr. Stillwell and Nichols involving, Captain Glover. And then on the 20th, I have a motion for Mr. Stillwell and Nichols in regards to constitutionality of gun statute.
You alerted time for that date, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, the 11 o'clock, sir.
Thank you. I also have for 9, 20, and 11, the rest of the witnesses for, the motion with Mr. Nichols and Mr. Stillwell.
Who do we have, madam, just so?
It would be Officer Matthew Peterson and potentially one additional officer. Officer Matthew Peterson.
Okay,
And Your Honor,
sir.
regarding, and Mr. Harvey had stepped out for a moment, but I just want to make sure, I've been in discussions with him about this as well, regarding the constitutionality. And I understand, I heard Your Honor give instructions.
Yeah, I've read the motion.
We are still of the opinion, and I know that Mr. Harvey is of the opinion, that we need to hear from an expert in the historical basis.
I'm telling you, our Supreme Court has done a very fine job of chronicling that particular statute. And at this point, I'm going to, I'll of course listen to any argument you have, but I don't need a witness. And should there be any federal development before that occurs, I'll be more than happy to take it up.
Okay, I just felt the need to bring it to everyone's attention.
Once again, for the
Yes.
third time.
Yes,
Okay, all right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. Okay.
So Your Honor, we have updates. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead, hold on. Yes,
We have updates from Lieutenant Gant. His availability includes Wednesday, September 20th, Friday.
1 second. Okay, what's his availability?
Wednesday, September the 20th, Friday, September the 29th, Tuesday, October the 3rd, Wednesday, October the 4th, Thursday, October the 5th, and Friday, October the 6th. He indicated the October dates would be better, but those are all of his available dates. Additionally, Your Honor, Detective White indicated that he unintentionally gave us October dates rather than September. And he is at this moment seeking his availability on the dates that I've just given the court for Lieutenant Gant to see if we can have days that both are available, both he and Lieutenant Gann. So when Detective White indicated that he was available on the 27th, he inadvertently indicated October the 27th instead of September the 27th.
So he's
But
not,
they-
so he's not available on September 27th?
Correct, Your Honor. And they both he at this point and Lieutenant Gant are available on October the 3rd and October the 4th. But I am asking Detective White if he is also available on the dates that Lieutenant Gant is available in September.
I don't necessarily need to have both of them here at the same time
Okay.
because they have different, they're here for different incident dates.
Okay.
So, so Detective White is not available any dates in September.
That is what he is looking at, Your Honor, right now, his September availability. I was able to give you the October dates for Detective White because he had previously given those to Chief Green over here. So I'm getting his.
Can you tell him that's too late?
What is?
That those dates in October are too late.
Yes, Your Honor, he's getting his September dates. He has
All
to
right.
stand by.
While we're waiting on that, let me see if I can find these dates in September for, let me shift to Lieutenant Gant, so. All right, let's see. 20th. Your Honor. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, madam.
He is available September the 29th. Is that acceptable to the court?
I already have another, madam, I already have another, and couple of your colleagues have booked those 2 days, the 28th and the 29th. Let me see, if I've got anything available that morning. Now I'm fully engaged on both those 2 days.
Your Honor, is the court willing to accept, or is there will the court inquire whether there would be an objection to us securing testimony via Zoom if it comes to that? Or would the court require that we continue making the inquiry of his in-person availability?
I don't believe your colleagues across the way would probably accept that particular option. Where's he coming from?
Savannah?
Yeah.
Your Honor, is the court willing to tell us and I'm asking him, all of the dates in September that he is available? Is the court willing to let us know what dates that the court has availability in September?
Yes, ma'am. All right, with a caveat, how long do you think it's going to take to present his testimony?
Not even an hour, not even, probably about 30 minutes at the most.
Okay.
He's also available on the 28th, Your Honor.
Remember, I have the 28th and the 29th that I'm fully booked on an unrelated matter, but with a couple of your other colleagues. Could we? September the 21st, that would be a Thursday, at 4 o'clock. That's a Thursday. That would just be his motion. That'd be it. Could do Tuesday the 26th at 11 o'clock, or I should say, or 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Either one of those work for him?
I just made the inquiry. I'm awaiting a reply.
Okay.
Honor, may I be excused to just reach out and call?
Yes, ma'am, you may.
Can we be at ease?
Yes, you may, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, will the court permit me to approach with Mr. Steele regarding, Mr. Steele is here. Okay. Yeah, we have a report.
All right.
Thank you for your indulgence, Your Honor. We will be able to secure Investigator White for September the 26th at 4 o'clock.
Okay. I have Mr. Williams' motion for suppress number 7 scheduled for 4 o'clock on the 26th. Mr. Steele?
You mean number 9, Your Honor?
I'm sorry. Let me make sure. It's number 7, is that correct? I said number 9, but is it number 7?
I think it's 9.
Well, the one involving investigator Gant is number 7.
Right,
So this is number 9.
yes.
And this would be for Wednesday, the 27th at 4 PM, correct?
6, Your Honor?
26th
Yes.
at 4 PM.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right?
And with respect to Lieutenant Gant, Your Honor, he said he's available Friday, September 15th, Wednesday, September 20th, Friday, September 29th.
When did I say that already? Let's see. Okay, now that's been set. Now, motion to suppress number 9. Now, Mr. Lieutenant Gantz on motion to suppress number 7. So you said the dates were September the 20th,
Correct.
the 29th.
And the 15th.
All right. What was the last date, madam?
The 15th,
Of September?
yes, Your Honor.
15 September.
20th.
Okay, hold on one second. Let's, that's just Friday. All right, so. All right, Ms. Love, let's do it on the 20th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, 20 September. Madam, he can come at 11 and we'll just, whatever, we have several other pieces of business that day. So if assuming he comes, we'll take up the witnesses, we'll take up the motions with witnesses first, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
September the 20th.
Yes, ma'am, and that's motion to suppress Williams number 7.
Thank you, Judge.
You did say 11 a.m.
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, folks, any other inquiry of me at this point in time?
Not on behalf of Mr. Williams.
Anybody else?
Not on the stage, Judge.
Okay, all right, then we'll be in recess until tomorrow, the 14th, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 1100 hours, and like I said, we'll take up your motion to suppress ID, Mr. Sharp, on behalf of Mr. Stillwell, and commence or continue with jury selection. Okay, all right, we're in recess. All right.